everybody. It's Mitch. Hope you're doing great today, having an awesome day out there, just being adaptable and making things happen out in the world. Hope you're doing something awesome as you're listening to this. Today I was scrolling through LinkedIn, as I do sometimes when I'm taking a break or whatever, and I see this person who posts something that is really becoming common right now that I find to be hilarious. And it's this article that came out from the BBC that basically says, hey, don't ask me to print your ChatGPT birthday card. And basically they're talking about how people are starting to hit back against what they call AI slop. Now I got to tell you something. Those of you who listen to me often, or you've seen me speak, or you know me, you know that I don't hold back with stuff like this. It drives me crazy. And so I put up a post that you can go see it on my LinkedIn or wherever, Substack. And I basically said, look, and this is for you listening right now too, this idea that we are going to, stop people from using AI to make bad advertising or to make terrible scripts or to write terrible things because we're going to report it to an organization, or we're going to report it to LinkedIn, and we're going to call it AI slop, or we're going to make videos about stopping the AI slop. This idea that is productive or useful is, to me, absolutely silly. Now let's think about something for a minute. If you actually take any time out of your day, which I don't think you need to do, but if you did, if you were just bored today and you're like, man, I really want to do some research, do yourself a favor and look up what has been talked about throughout history in the negative anytime there's a technological movement. Look up what people said about how dangerous automobiles were going to be. Look up, this part will blow your mind. Read the articles that were written back at the turn of the 20th century about the risks of electricity itself. Now think about that. The thing you use every day, all day, in about 1,000 different directions, people were terrified of it. They were writing articles and making cartoons about it for the newspaper, saying that all these wires and all this electricity was going to kill everyone and burn down the world. And if you keep going through history, now I'm a Gen Xer and my parents are boomers. So in their lifetime, if they go back far enough, we're talking like before television was invented, and everyone thought television would ruin the world. And in some ways it was terrible. And in other ways it was amazing. And it continues to be amazing. But all throughout history, whether it's the internet, cell phones, maybe smartphones, you go back through history with social media. And while all of these things we could argue do have maybe what you could call a downside, I'm sure there's a downside to everything. I mean, gosh, if you take too many aspirin, there's going to be a downside. So there's always a downside, right? But at the same time, if we're being honest, is so much upside to the advancement of these technologies. And what I find interesting about this, and this is what I want you to ponder right now, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, just look around and ask yourself two questions. So look around wherever you are, ask yourself two questions. Number one, are the humans around you, if you're around people right now, do they seem like they really care about anything other than what they're doing? Like, do they seem like they're actually having a conversation with other people? Do they seem engaged with other people? Do they even seem happy or like they're fully being human? Or are they just going through the motions of the day? Or are they just head down looking really sad or frustrated? Meanwhile, what fires people up is this idea that they're going to fight back against something. Like they all need something to fight back against. So my point to this is, as you're looking around and thinking about that first question, does anyone actually look like they're fully engaged as a human being? Because they seem to online get really fully engaged with pushing back, fighting against, and arguing against what they perceive as some slight against humanity. But if you look around where you are right now, are they actually doing anything that demonstrates that they want to be involved in humanity or that they're engaged in it in any way whatsoever? And I have debates with people about this all the time. So that's just number one. We'll get back to that in a second. Number two, I want you to think about your own life. Okay, just for a second. If AI in its current format never changed, if it just stayed the way it is, which by the way, if I'm being honest, this is the least capable AI will ever be forever. But let's just say it stopped right where it is and it didn't get any more advanced. Where it is right now, and you look at any industry, oil and gas, medicine, you look at tourism, you look at HR, you look at industries around finance, AI right now in its current form is already doing more to advance those industries than I would argue probably any technology in history except maybe mobile phones and the internet. But I think AI is doing more right now. I know, factually speaking, that I have friends who have used AI to scan their own x-rays when they got the images or scan their own medical documents to find anomalies. My own wife has used AI to help solve a coughing problem with our kiddo. So like, what I'm saying is, if you just look around the advancement in your own life, how are you using AI right now to better every day of your life? How could you use it more to better every day of your life? And I think what's happened here is, so those are the two things I want you to think about. Look around you. Are humans actually engaged? And number two, are you using AI effectively to get more out of your life, to save yourself more time? So think about that. Just the idea of saving time. People used to, when I started into the AI space and we were dealing with it a few years ago, people would argue with me, well, it's just saving a few minutes. And I go, well, wait a minute. If you had to write 10 emails today and you could do that in a fraction of the time and then make a template and then take that template and turn it into a Word document, and then you type into the Word document your human stuff, and then you could take that Word document and tweak the email with it, and then you could format that email consistently, and then you could go back and change it numerous times, and you'd be able to go through 30 times the email in a fraction of the time. Are you saying you don't want that time back? Are you saying you don't want that extra time? And of course, everyone says, no, of course I want that extra time. Okay, then what are we arguing about? Time is our most valuable asset. It's more valuable than anything else we own. Time is it. So the idea that even you right now listening to this could save more time is critical. Okay, so those two things, you're thinking about those. Do people actually want to be involved in humanity? Be honest. And saving time, and also improving our lives with artificial intelligence. But here's what happens, going back to my original point. Here's what happens. People go online and they think because they went to college and they memorized facts or they got a PhD or whatever it is, they then think, well, that means my knowledge and the knowledge that I have is more valuable than anything. And I just rebuke and get offended when people use artificial intelligence to make slop. It's just terrible. But meanwhile, these same people will literally go into LinkedIn, a professional platform, and post rants about politics or rants about kids on e-bikes. Don't even get me started. Or rants about nonsensical cultural issues that no one's fighting over. And they would rather go waste their time and post that kind of material than let someone take a real topic, draft a real message that has real value, and post it. And if they happen to use AI in the process, who cares for real? No one. A very tiny, narrow group of people. So the idea that LinkedIn even took the time to have their developers, by the way, think about this process. LinkedIn took the time to have developers they paid money go into the system and recode an AI slop reporting button that you have to find because it's not user friendly, just so these men and women could go in and report what they think is AI slop. How on earth would they even know? Did you know, by the way, I used to say this a lot when I was speaking about AI early on. I don't use it as much now because it's all kind of common knowledge, although maybe I should bring it back in. But did you know that this was 2 years ago? So go back 2 years. A research company put the US Constitution, okay, the US Constitution written in the 1700s, they put it into an AI detector. And do you know what they found? The AI detector came back 92.1% positive that it was written by AI. So think about that for a second. So 92.1% detected as AI. The US Constitution, okay? A document written by humans in 1787. Now, one of two things has happened here. Either AI detection is completely nonsensical garbage, and we should stop even trying to use it, or we live in a simulation built by a computer in a master society. And if that's true, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't have time for that nonsense right now. But going back to what my point is here, we live in this detection society. I'm going to report you. I'm going to detect you. I'm going to tell people you use AI when you write your content. Thank God you do, because most humans are terrible writers. Most humans are terrible at relaying their thoughts. Most humans need AI to guide their thought processes. I guarantee right now, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you know, has become a better person, a better writer, a better thinker, a better parent, a better educator because they're using AI every day. They may not be telling you this, but I guarantee you can see the change. And I guarantee that if you look hard enough, you would find people who are evolving quickly. And let's talk about the final truth here in kind of this moment that I'm having. I want to tell you the final truth. Those of you that think knowledge is still expensive, if that's you, you need to really kind of look into AI more. Knowledge right now is cheap. I would argue the cost of knowledge is now zero because of the free models of artificial intelligence. And by the way, here's what's so odd. The same people that would report a post as being AI slop are the same people that don't realize that what's so amazing is what I just said. The cost of knowledge is now zero. That means a person with a cell phone and access to ChatGPT or Claude or whatever their AI model is they like can get the same amount of information and knowledge as someone, you know, who doesn't have that technology, who went to college for 8 years to memorize facts, or 4 years, or however long they were in college. Okay. So think about that. That means we have democratized knowledge to the degree that if you are poor or rich or successful or not successful, or you're a woman or a man, or you're whatever, you can get the same amount of knowledge transfer now as anyone else. It's breaking down the gatekeepers that have been controlling our knowledge for so long. And what it's also done, which I'll talk about in another episode, but it's also made wisdom super valuable. So now wisdom is the single most important thing you can have, taking the knowledge and applying it. So these same people who would report you as AI slop, the question is, are they not understanding that because knowledge is cheap, the competitive advantage is wisdom, it's judgment, it's knowing what decisions we should and shouldn't give away to machines. That's wisdom. That's our judgment. That's our adaptability. But I swear that sometimes I feel like, and I hope it's not you, but I feel like some people just don't understand. This is a renaissance for humanity. This is a new evolution for the human species, that we shouldn't be detecting AI or telling people that that content must be AI and I will take it upon myself to report it. What a waste of time and energy. What we should be doing is saying, well, what skills do I need to evolve? Yeah, it's hard work to seek wisdom. It is hard work to learn judgment, to learn how to be adaptable. That is harder work than the shortcut of quick knowledge. But it's the right work for humanity. And I would even go further to say, I think there's another reason why this matters. Okay. Let's think about Gen Z. So maybe that's you, Generation Z. Those of you that know me know I have 3 kids that are Gen Z. Okay. So they're above the age of 18. I also have a Gen Alpha kid who's awesome, and his whole world is going to be totally different. But let's think about this for a second. Generation Z. So I think the oldest Gen Zer right now is maybe 28 or 29. And the youngest is down into the late teens. Okay. So Generation Z. Now, this is a generation who is walking into a workforce where the economy does not support their lives. For them to buy a house over the next 10 years would be brutal and difficult. And they know this. And you really need to be careful, by the way, about believing the BS in the media trying to tell you that Gen Z is resisting technology like AI. I will tell you categorically that is false. It is completely false. The truth is Gen Z is out there every day using AI. Now, not just our kids who use it all day, every day for all sorts of things, but also all of their generation. They need the advantage. This is the generation that is going to use any tool necessary to be successful. They're going to use AI. They're going to use any other form of technology, side hustles, cryptocurrency. They're going to do whatever it takes to win, because the economy and what we have left them as a human experience is broken, and they know it. So if AI can make their lives better, if AI can help them with a little bit of therapy now and then, if AI can teach them how to have a better relationship, good. And they're going to embrace it that way. And I promise you that in the next 3 to 5 years, they're just not going to, most of us are just not going to care whether AI was some nonsense we detected. And if you don't believe me, remember this or ask this of someone who does remember it. When Facebook came out, now it was early on, 2004, it came out to colleges. But by 2006, 7, 8, and onward, everyone could use it. And if you look at what happened in businesses, and then I'll give you another funny example. In businesses, companies blocked Facebook from being able to be used inside the company because they deemed that it was too risky. Report anyone you see using Facebook in the company because it's too risky. They did this with social media for years until they realized that actually our employees could help us with social media. Actually, it's kind of a private thing. They can do whatever they want with it. Actually, it doesn't really matter. It's not a security risk. But people were reporting each other for being on Facebook. Think that through for a second. The second thing that happened, that I just want to tell you the second story, which is funny, and I've said this in my talks before, the BlackBerry came out and everyone had a BlackBerry because it was a secure device. But then when the iPhone came out, organizations and IT companies or IT divisions did not want you using the iPhone. Do you know why? Because they said it posed a security risk. Let us know if someone is using the iPhone. Report them to the internal authorities if they're using the iPhone. You got to be kidding me. So all throughout history, and I know this because as a Gen Xer, I lived through all this change. By the way, they also, in college early on, when Google came out and Yahoo was out as a search engine, colleges did not want you to use Google. They said it was not research. They punished students for using Google search. That's real. So this idea of reporting, I'm just going to tell you, Gen Z's not going to care. They're going to do whatever they have to do to win. And then Gen Alpha coming right behind them, those are kids that are 14 and younger. They're going to be rebels around this, living for the human experience and using artificial intelligence embedded into everything. You know what their generation's going to argue about? Robots. Should robots be walking our dogs? Report people who use robots every day. Did a robot do your laundry? You're not a true person. That's what they'll be arguing about. So each generation will have its thing. So I'm going to wrap up this session just by telling you this. Look, I get that it can be really scary. I get that it can be so terrifying when a new technology this big and this powerful shows up. I get that people in the media and people in social media are trying so hard to feel like they matter. So if that's you, if you're one of those people, let me tell you this, you do matter, man. You matter. You matter because you're a person. You matter because you're a dynamic human that can do anything. You can become anything. That's why you matter. Not because you memorize facts. That's not what makes you uniquely human. So you need to start asking yourself, what is this human element I bring forward? Remember those two questions I asked you earlier? Ask yourself that question. Do I, as a human being, am I showing up? Am I learning the skills to be a better human? It's okay to be afraid of technology. It's not okay to be so afraid that you try to report it and you try to have people burned because you think they're using it. That's just you trying to get back your control of your life. A long time ago, I read the book, The Four Agreements. Maybe some of you have read it. Maybe you've read it. The key is in the Four Agreements that we have to stop taking everything so personally, and we have to stop thinking, which is in the Four Agreements, that there's some script that everyone has to follow in our lives. If not, they're violators of our script, and therefore we're going to kick them out of the movie of life. That's just not how it works. And I'm going to do more of these. So please listen to all the episodes. Let me know what you think. I don't know if it's a podcast or more of just me trying to help you the best way I can. I love talking. I love being on stage. So I want to help you. Like I said, people are not afraid because they like being the gatekeeper. They're afraid because they're afraid of being nothing. We're all afraid at the end of the day that we're going to become nothing and we're not going to have value. That's why we're all on social media. That's why we're all trying to talk and be heard, and we just want to feel valuable. Okay. So make someone feel valuable today. That's your homework, and hone your human skills. That's my final thought. Hone your human skills. The future is about adaptability. If you're a leader, I hope you're listening to this. The future is about adaptability. The future is about your team and your organization being agile. And the future is about leveraging every piece of technology we can put our hands on to make this world better, to make our companies better, to make our individual relationships better. That's our job. Use the technology you have, and then, yes, go outside. Go for a walk with someone. Walk your dog before the robots do. Hey there, this is Mitch. If you're listening to this today and wondering whether your organization is actually ready for what's coming, that's the work I'm doing right now with executive leadership teams in just about every industry you can imagine. 3 hours, $25,000, your senior leaders, your real challenges as an organization or a team. And I spend time over that 3 hours focusing on real, actionable output. We talk about what's working, what's stuck, what needs to change, and whether you're actually building an adaptable workforce, an adaptable organization. It's a private, $25,000 executive session. So reach out to me through email or reach out to our team and we'll get you signed up today. And just remember, AI, technology, and the world itself will continue to change. The question is, will you?